The news, good evening. The government will continue to support payment of salaries to private sector Seychellois employees until the end of the year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The minister responsible for finance, Maurice Lustolalan, made the announcement following further consultations between the government and the private sector this morning. The meeting at State House was chaired by President Danny Faure.
Everybody is anxious to know what is government going to do post the 30th of June 2020 with regards to the financial assistance for salaries. The decision of government is that it will continue the same scheme from July 1 right through to the 31st of December 2020. So to the end of the year, the government will support the payment of salaries to employees. From the 1st of July, that payment of salaries is only to Seychellois workers, not expatriate workers. Companies that were not assisted in the April applications, their employees from July onwards will also be assisted. Seychellois employees.
And this morning's meeting also decided to discuss with the central bank some issues concerning the support to businesses through a 500 million rupee loan mechanism. The private sector has also expressed the concerns of the Gainful Employment Permit GOP for their expatriate staff. Both issues will be addressed during a meeting on Tuesday. And President Danny Faure made a brief tour of the international airport at Pointe-la-Rue this afternoon to see the safety measures in place against the COVID-19 virus in preparation for the reopening of the airport on the 1st of June. President Faure visited the departure terminal, the check-in counters area, arrival lounge, immigration counters, the screening area, and also the medical room. He was accompanied on the visit by the chairman of the board of the Civil Aviation Authority, Suketu Patel, the CEO of the SCA, Mr. Gary Albert, and other senior management officials. Mr. Albert says safety measures regarding social distancing has been implemented in almost all areas, and he expects the remaining work to be fully completed during the next few days.
For our staff, we are providing the masks, gloves, and also we have automatic sanitizers around the airport, and also encouraging social distancing. Keep your distance with the passengers, and encouraging our staff also to take personal measures. Be careful where you touch. Try not to touch your face, as one example. And also practice high level of hygiene. Air Seychelles also is working on some measures, how to effectively protect the passengers. You have to wear a mask, and you have to sanitize your hand regularly. And also prior to disembarkation, some airlines they encourage passengers to spray their shoes or whatever means before they get out. And also encouraging airlines to enable disembarkation by zone, so to protect the passengers.
The Transport Committee involved in the fight against COVID-19 says it is satisfied with the transportation service that the Omnibus Association is offering to post-secondary institutions since the beginning of this week. The declaration was made by the Principal Secretary for Land Transport, Mr. Patrick André, during the committee's press conference at the Department of Health this afternoon. Mr. André also noted that bus schedules for the post-secondary institutions will be finalized this week, along with the costs of the private omnibus operations. The Chief Executive Officer of the SPTC, for his part, Mr. Patrick Vell, said that this week there has been a marked improvement in the transportation of commuters who are going to work in the morning. There is about 12% of the population of Seychelles who are living in a multi-dimensional poverty. This means that they lack in certain areas such as the standard of living, health, education, and employment. This came out during a press conference this morning where the Department for Poverty Alleviation and the National Bureau of Statistics presented the results of a study they did last year on poverty in the country. The study covered 1,200 households on Mahe, Pale, and Lajig.
We are thankful to the Seychelles Bureau of Statistics who have conducted the exercise, and they've produced the result. I will leave it to them to pronounce themselves on it. Therefrom, we will be having new orientations on the various policies that we will be addressing in terms of review and introduction of new policies. Obviously, it is a work that it is done with other partners, other ministries, and it is done through concerted effort.
The National Bureau of Statistics undertook the survey to compile a multidimensional poverty index based on the request from the Poverty Alleviation Department. This kind of survey, which measures poverty, is different from the poverty rates that were compiled in the past, in that the past rates were based on monetary measures, income, whereas this one is entirely based on non-monetary dimensions, which include the living standards of the household, education, employment, and health. So we are basically focusing on these 4 dimensions and measuring the different indicators to see how poor the people are and how deep is the level of poverty based on these non-monetary measures.
And with this, we've come to the end of this news summary. Thanks for watching.